when we're not in the middle of a war, when we're not in the middle of a pandemic? How are we deficit level spending at this level in the absence of those cases? And that's the issue.
So let me ask you this then, because it's obviously not an easy answer for should the Fed be cutting. Do you think this is a market that can continue to rally irregardless if the Fed cuts rates?
The problem that we have now is that we have so much debt that with the interest rates that are currently the way they are, our interest is now, we're in the net negative interest rate situation. The Federal Reserve is not remitting positive interest payments to the Treasury right now. Like, that's normal. That's not what's happening right now. We're in a net negative situation. And that will likely continue as we have to refinance this debt. So the issue is, while we all want cheap cost of capital, we can't afford to have the interest be the third or fourth largest expense on the Federal Reserve's balance sheet, or excuse me, the federal government's balance sheet behind Social Security and Medicare and the military. That is not something that we're used to being down 7, 8. It's coming up to 3 or 4. And that's when you start to see countries that are at a 120% debt to GDP that enter something we call a debt spiral, where you have to keep refinancing your debt and the interest keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and eventually it's impossible to continue to refinance. So we're not there, but Americans need to take heed and caution that, for one, it takes time to implement AI. It will take time to monetize. If you remember, I can give you like the .com crash as an example. We had this huge run up and we couldn't even sell a bag of dog food. Pets.com was worth $1 billion. So it wasn't until e-commerce was actually created and then the internet could be monetized that we then got monetization, and then we leveled out. So you will always see retrenchment. You'll always see hyper exuberance. And then once monetization reality comes into play, you do see some retrenchment until you can get a stable, okay, this is the operating level that we're going to be at for a while, and that will continue to grow. But